This story is called Left to Sweat It Out. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was still pretty small for my age. All the bigger boys enjoyed picking on me, although looking back, I'm sure I provoked a good bit of it. I was in the building trades program where we learned carpentry and other construction skills during the school year. We only went to school a half a day, and then we went to building trades after that. That year, we actually built a house. It was a great program. Unfortunately, we weren't all very good students. Our teacher was Robert Woodard, although we called him Jake. We had nicknamed him that in the very beginning. Our shop and classroom were in the old bus barn that was across the highway from the old high school. That was just a big old shell of a building, had no insulation at all in it. In the winter, it freeze you to the bone, and in the summer, you'd just be like working inside of an oven. We were a pretty rowdy bunch. By midterm, we had caused so much trouble that the school administration was considering shutting down the entire building trades program. Everyone knew what that meant. We'd all be back in a classroom sitting behind a desk instead of being out actually learning something. So Jake did everything he could to keep us under control, including his wooden paddle. But we were a pretty hopeless bunch of misfits. The new high school was being built that year, and it was supposed to be ready for us to move into at midterm. The new desks had arrived early, packed in dozens of large cardboard boxes. There was nowhere else to store them, so they brought them over to the bus barn. The boxes were stacked 3 or 4 high, almost to the ceiling. One afternoon, while the weather was still extremely hot, we were loading tools onto the bus to go to the project house. That was when several of the older boys decided to have a little fun with me. They tied my hands and feet and hoisted me up to the top of the boxes. I struggled to get loose, but before I could free myself, I heard the bus start and then pull away. That left me there by myself in that blazing hot tin building. After a few minutes, I managed to free my hands and feet, but before I could climb down, the door opened. It was Mr. Wan, our school superintendent. He had come to inventory the desk. There I was, laying up on top of those boxes with absolutely no good explanation for why I wasn't on the bus with the rest of the class. So I decided the safest thing to do was lay up there perfectly still. Mr. Wan began walking around the stack of boxes with a clipboard in hand. He went around once, then all the way around again, and then again. At times, he was no more than a few feet from me. It was miserably hot up there. I could feel the sweat running off me as I watched him from above. Each time he walked around one side of the stack, my eyes followed him as far as they could. Then I heard him coming around the other side. I would very slowly roll over so he wouldn't see my face peering down at him. I sure couldn't make any sudden movements. I could hardly breathe, and I certainly couldn't sneeze. Mr. Wan was probably in the bus barn no more than 10 minutes, but laying there trying not to move while sweat poured off me, it felt like hours. Finally, I heard the door open, and then it slammed. He was gone. I climbed down from the boxes, straightened myself up, and found something to do while I waited for the bus to return. Eventually, I heard it pull up outside. I had already worked out a plan. I would stand back and let everyone else come in the building ahead of me, then I would quietly mix in with the group, and Jake would never realize that I hadn't been with them all afternoon. It seemed like a perfect plan, except for one thing. The moment Jake stepped through the door, he hollered, "Lewis." I stepped out to where he could see me. He looked directly at me and said, "Bend over, that's going to cost you 10 licks." I guess Jake had been paying a lot more attention to what was going on than we ever gave him credit for.